Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Neshtiki. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmalatam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Caitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. We're continuing to read from Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 3, Chapter 3, and we are on text 23. So, Devadineshu Kameshu Devadinaha Swayam Puman Ko Vishrambheta Yogena Yogeshwaram Anuvrataha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Every living entity is controlled by a supernatural force, and thus his sense enjoyment is also under the control of that supernatural force. No one, therefore, can put his faith in Lord Krishna's transcendental sense activities, but one who has become a devotee of the Lord by rendering devotional service. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, no one can understand the transcendental birth and activities of the Lord. The same fact is herein corroborated. No one but one who is enlightened by the devotional service of the Lord can understand the difference between the Lord's activities and those of others who are controlled by the supernatural force. So in Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna says that not everyone can understand him. It's only by devotional service that we can understand Krishna. That's why we hear so many people, they will say, they jump straight to Krishna's Vrindavan pastimes without understanding the position of Krishna. And then they'll just try to, find fault in Krishna. Oh, why is Krishna having so many gopi damsels? Why is he playing with other people's wives? Why is he stealing butter? Why is he a thief? But just by our mental speculation, we cannot understand Krishna. Krishna can be understood only by devotional service. Once we start chanting Hare Krishna, we start hearing Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam in the disciplic succession, then we can understand Krishna. The sense enjoyment of all animals, men, and demigods within the purview of the material universe is controlled by the supernatural force called the Prakriti or Devi Maya. No one is independent in obtaining sense enjoyment, and everyone in this material world is after sense enjoyment. So we think that we are independent, we can do whatever we like, but actually we are under the laws of this material nature. She's called Devi Maya or Prakriti. Same as we are living in any country, then we are subject to the laws of that country. We have to abide by the rules of that country. Otherwise, we will be put in prison, we'll be reprimanded or penalized, or some reaction will come. So we always need to abide by the laws, of that particular country that we are living in. Similarly, here right now we are living in Devi Dham. This material world is called Devi Dham. It is the jurisdiction of Durga Devi. She's Maya Devi personified. And so we are controlled by her. Now, many people think that she's all in all, just like a child. Because he sees the mother every day, he doesn't know that there is a father. He just thinks that the mother is everything. The mother is the one. But there is also a father. So Krishna has put this Maya Devi in front of us. Why? Because we want to forget him. We want to enjoy separate from him. We don't want to be with him. So he said, can't be possible. We can never ever be independent of Krishna. So let me just put this curtain of Maya, and then you can pretend that I don't exist, and you can continue doing whatever you want to do, thinking that you are independent. So that is our position. No one is independent in obtaining sense enjoyment, and everyone in this material world is after sense enjoyment. So what are we doing here is we all want to enjoy. We all want to enjoy, because we are thinking by enjoying our senses, we will become happy. What we are truly searching for is happiness. We are searching for bliss, and we are thinking we'll find that happiness through sense enjoyment. Let me eat whatever I want to eat. Let me speak whatever I want to speak. Let me hear whatever I want to hear. Let me see whatever I want to see. But we have been doing that since time immemorial. And we can see, sure, there is some enjoyment, but it's temporary and it goes away. And the emptiness in the heart still doesn't go. Why? Because that's the hankering of the soul for Krishna. Persons who are themselves under the control of the supernatural power cannot believe that Lord Krishna is not under any control beyond himself in the matter of sense enjoyment. They cannot understand that his senses are transcendental. So we can try to understand that right now we are in this material body. We are actually the living spark inside the body. We are not the body, we are in the body. And when we give up this body, we will take up another material body. And this continues till the time we go back to the spiritual world, where we can remain in our original position right now, as we are the original spark. So in the spiritual world, we can have our spiritual body. No need to take another material body. Similarly, Krishna, he does not have a material body. His body is transcendental. His form is transcendental. It is Sat Chid Ananda. It is eternal. It is full of knowledge and full of bliss. We are also Sat Chid Ananda, but we are tiny, tiny parts of Krishna, and Krishna is unlimited. So many people think that just because Krishna came to the material world, he also took a material body. No, Krishna does not take a material body. His form is eternal, it's transcendental. In the Brahma Samhita, the Lord's senses are described as omnipotent. That is, with any sense, he can perform the activities of the other senses. One who has limited senses cannot believe that the Lord can eat by his transcendental power of hearing and can perform the act of sex life simply by seeing. So we cannot even understand, oh, how inconceivable. How can I eat through my ears, we say, because for us, our experience is so limited to this material world. And because of that, we think that this is it. There's nothing beyond it. For example, a frog who's in the well, who's confined to the atmosphere and the boundary of the well, he cannot understand what is the great ocean because he's never seen it. And he's not willing to hear from somebody who's telling him about the ocean. The ocean exists, but because his experience is limited to the well, he does not want to understand. Similarly, Krishna, because our experience is limited to this material world, we don't want to hear about Krishna. We say, no, how can it be? But the devotees say that in Brahma Samhita, Lord Brahma is saying that Krishna can eat through his ears. That's why when we are offering the bhoga, we are chanting the prayers, Krishna is eating. And here can perform the act of sex life simply by seeing. When Mahavishnu, he glances at the Mahatattva. And then the whole creation happens. All the living entities are put here. The controlled living entity cannot even dream of such sense activities in his conditional life. But simply by the activities of Bhakti Yoga, he can understand that the Lord and his activities are always transcendental. So if we want to approach Krishna, we want to understand Krishna, we have to engage in bhakti. Without bhakti, we cannot understand Krishna. As the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 18:55, Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yaschasmi tattvataha. One cannot know even a fraction of the activities of the Lord if he is not a pure devotee of the Lord. So if we want to understand Krishna, we should take up this chanting process of chanting the Hare Krishna mantra very seriously. We should take up the Krishna conscious process very seriously if we want to understand Krishna. And Krishna will reveal himself, because Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that as you surrender to that degree, I will reveal myself. Yem yatamam prapadyante tam stateva bhajami aham. So the more we surrender to Krishna, the more he will reveal himself to us. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
So text 24. Puryam kadachit kridad bir yadu bhoja kumara kahe kopita munya shepur bhagwan mata ko vidaha. Once upon a time, great sages were made angry by the sporting activities of the princely descendants of the Yadu and Bhoja dynasties, and thus, as desired by the Lord, the sages cursed them. So this is the cursing of, like, why did the Yadu dynasty kill each other? The associates of the Lord who were playing the part of princely descendants of the Yadu and Bhoja dynasties were not ordinary living entities. So we have to understand that the associates of Krishna are not ordinary people. They are not like us. We are ordinary conditioned souls, but the personalities who are in Krishna's pastimes, they are not ordinary. Many of them were Krishna's personal expansions, and also they were incarnations of the demigods, expansions of the demigods. So because they are such great personalities, it is not possible that they could offend any saintly man or sage, nor could the sages, who are all pure devotees of the Lord, be influenced to anger by any of the sporting activities of the princess born in the holy dynasties of Yadu or Bhoja, wherein the Lord himself appeared as a descendant. So a pure devotee of the Lord, he never gets angry. Never. Even if somebody unjustly does anything bad to them, a pure devotee of the Lord, because he has full control of his anger, he doesn't feel angry. His heart is full of love. So he's not going to get angry with that. So then why did these sages got angry? It is just a pastime created by the Lord. And it's not possible for these descendants of Yadu and Bhoja to offend the sages. They're not like that. But why did this happen in this circumstance? It's just the pastime of the Lord. The cursing of the princess by the sages was another transcendental pastime of the Lord to make a show of anger. The princes were cursed in order that one may know that even the descendants of the Lord, who could never be vanquished by any act of material nature, were subjected to the reactions of anger by great devotees of the Lord. One should therefore take great care and attention not to commit an offense at the feet of a devotee of the Lord. So Prabhupada is saying this pastime is to show to us that we should not offend the pure devotees of the Lord. Because then even if we are descendants of Krishna, even if we are related to Krishna, then our outcome won't be good. Because Krishna is very, very, the devotees are very, very dear to Krishna. He says that the devotees are very dear to me, more dear to me than my own self. So, text 25. Tatha katipayar maser rishni bojandakadayah yayu prabhasam samhrishta rather deva vimohitaha. A few months passed, and then, bewildered by Krishna, all the descendants of Rishni, Bhoja, and Andaka, who were incarnations of demigods, went to Prabhas, while those who were eternal devotees of the Lord did not leave but remained in Dwarka. So, amongst these descendants in these Yadu dynasty, there were personalities who were eternal associates of Krishna, who came with Krishna from Dwarka in the spiritual world. And there were many of them who were incarnations of demigods. Because Krishna had told to the demigods that I'm going to appear, so you also take birth in these families. So now, Sukadev Goswami is saying that, and Uddhav is saying this to Vidura, that the descendants who were the incarnations of demigods, they went to Prabhas. But the eternal associates of the Lord, they still remained in Dwarka. So, 26. Tatra snatva pitrin devan rishims chaiva tad ambhasa tarpatye vatha viprebhyo gavo bahuguna daduhu. After arriving there, all of them took bath, and with the water of this place of pilgrimage, they offered their respects to the forefathers, demigods, and great sages, and thus satisfied them. They gave cows to the Brahmanas in royal charity. Amongst the devotees of the Lord, there are several divisions, mainly Nitya Siddhas and Sadhana Siddhas. The Nitya Siddha devotees never fall down to the region of the material atmosphere, even though they sometimes come onto the material plane to execute the mission of the Lord. So there are the devotees of the Lord, they can be divided into two categories. One are called the Nitya Siddha. Nitya Siddha means they're eternally liberated souls. They never come under the influence of Maya Devi. Even if they come to the material world, they are coming only to fulfill the purpose of the Lord. They are coming either to take us back to the spiritual world, or they are coming to assist in the pastimes of the Lord. So they never come under the influence of Maya. For example, if a jailer is there in the prison, it doesn't mean that the jailer is a prisoner. You know, the commander of all the jails, for example, he's coming to visit a prison. It's not that he's coming to visit a prisoner, but he's come to see oh, let me see who's become rectified, so maybe I can, release them back into the normal society. Similarly, in the same way, the pure devotees are like that. Now, the sadhana siddha devotees are chosen from the conditioned souls. Out of the sadhana siddha devotees, they are mixed and pure devotees. So sadhana siddha devotees means, sadhana means practice, somebody who has followed the regulative rules and principles and then attained to pure devotional service. Because sadhana bhakti, that's what we are trying to do, is doing bhakti by following certain rules and regulations under the guidance of the guru, under the parampara system. And by doing that, we can achieve the benediction of love of God just by following the rules and regulations. So they are called the sadhana siddha devotees. And sadhana siddha devotees can be divided into two. One, who have pure devotees. They have no other desire except to please Krishna. And then the mixed devotees, they're devotees of the Lord. They want to please the Lord, but they also have some material desires. The mixed devotees are sometimes enthusiastic about fruitive activities and are habituated to philosophical speculation. Means the mixed devotees, they want to enjoy, they have some material desires. Those desires could be either like, let me do something and then with that I will enjoy by myself, or they are thinking about philosophical speculation, thinking about liberation or something, to some degree. But they are devotees of Krishna. They worship Krishna as the Supreme Lord, and that they are the servants of Krishna. The pure devotees are free from all these mixtures and are completely absorbed in the service of the Lord, regardless of how and where they are situated. So a pure devotee, his only motivation, his only aspiration is to serve and please Krishna by following the previous acharyas. That is pure devotion. That's a pure devotee.
So they are Nitya Siddhas?
They can become Nitya Siddhas. So what happens is the sadhana siddhas, when they're liberated and they go back to the spiritual world, they also become Nitya Siddha. Then there is no difference between the Nitya Siddha and the sadhana siddha, the pure devotee who go back to the spiritual world. There's no difference then. Does that make sense?
Not really. You could explain a bit.
Okay, so here the devotees who are following the rules and regulations, following the process of Krishna consciousness, they are called bhakta, sadhana. They are following sadhana bhakti. Sadhana means practice,
Right.
practice, hearing, chanting, worshipping the deity, remembering, offering prayers, and then following the 4 regulative principles, following what are the instructions of the guru. So like that, they are doing sadhana bhakti. Now, by doing this sadhana bhakti, the more we get purified, we can achieve the position of becoming pure devotees. Because slowly, the material desires will go away and the only desire will be to please Krishna. So then that devotee becomes a pure devotee. And when this pure devotee goes back to the spiritual world, then in the spiritual world, there is no different grade. Hey, you're not a siddha, you're a sadhana siddha. No. Then it's the same. Because Nitya Siddha people, the living entities, they never leave the spiritual world, right? They never leave. But once a living entity from this material world goes to the spiritual world, yeah, then there is no difference.
There's no Nitya and Sadhana Siddhas in the spiritual world.
Yeah.
That's what you want to say, right?
In the spiritual world, everybody then becomes a Nitya Siddha.
Nityas. Okay.
Everybody becomes a Nitya Siddha then.
But in the material world, like here, so then the pure devotees are what? They are Nitya Siddhas.
So the pure devotees who have become pure by engaging in bhakti yoga, by engaging in Vedi sadhana bhakti, following the rules and regulations, they are called sadhana siddha, because they are following the rules and regulations of bhakti, and that's how they are getting the perfection. So that's why they're called sadhana siddha. The Nitya Siddha devotees who come here to the material world, they were never conditioned. They were never had material desires. They came to the spiritual world only to take us back. You know, so the great acharyas in our line, they are Nitya Siddha devotees coming from the spiritual world.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So, and this is more detail explained in the Nectar of Devotion.
I think what Snehaji is trying to ask, what I thought, is about the division under the sadhana siddhas. That's what I think she's a little confused. Under the division, when you said that there are the pure devotees and the mixed devotees, under the sadhana siddha devotee.
Yeah, so what happens is sadhana, sadhana siddha devotees. So now there's no, now the devotees who are following, doing sadhana, okay, they are devotees
practicing, right? Yeah.
So devotees who are practicing, that they're practicing, they're hearing, chanting, following the rules and regulations. Okay, they are called the sadhana bhakta, sadhana devotees. Now these sadhana devotees can be divided into two. That one is they're practicing all these principles of bhakti, but they still have material desires. They still want to enjoy for themselves. And then there is another class of devotees who are practicing rules and regulations, and they're hearing and chanting, but they do not have any material desire. Their desire is only to please Krishna in any condition. And those devotees are called
pure devotees, right?
Yeah.
Right. So my question is, the pure devotees come under what?
Sadhana Siddha.
Sadhana, still Sadhana Siddha?
Yeah, they are the pure devotees. So
they're not Nitya Siddha. I thought they should be under Nitya Siddha.
Because they're still here in this
Still here. So in the material world, there's no Nitya Siddha.
In the material world, a Nitya Siddha is one who's coming from the spiritual.
From the spiritual.
Yeah. One who's coming from Goloka Vrindavan to tell us about Krishna. Those are the Nitya Siddha devotees. So in our line, Srila Prabhupada, he's a Nitya Siddha. He came just to teach us about Krishna. Bhakti Vinod Thakur, he's a Nitya Siddha. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he's a Nitya Siddha. All these great acharyas, they're Nitya Siddhas. It's not that they were here in the material world and they had material desires and then
they turn into pure devotees. So they don't. Yeah,
no, they're already pure devotees. They're coming from Goloka Vrindavan to tell us about Krishna.
Okay, got it. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nitya यानी हमेशा, always.
Yeah. Yeah. Nitya means always. Right. Yeah. So, and sadhana means practice.
Practice. Always sadhana में है ही है जो.
Yeah, practice. So now, pure devotees of the Lord are not enthusiastic to put aside their service to the Lord in order to go visit holy places of pilgrimage. A great devotee of the Lord in modern times, Sri Narottam Das Thakur, has sung like this. To visit holy places of pilgrimage is another bewilderment of the mind, because devotional service to the Lord at any place is the last word in spiritual perfection. So the example Prabhupada is giving here is of Narottam Das Thakur. He has written many, many beautiful bhajans. And so we are encouraged to, when we want to sing bhajans, we are encouraged to sing the bhajans of the great Vaishnavas, because that mood, the mood of how to approach Krishna is very important. And we can learn that mood by learning the bhajans of Narottam Das Thakur, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And so he's saying that many people like to visit holy places, right? Hardwar or Rishikesh, or, there's so many holy places. But if we are thinking that we'll go there, then we will get purified, that is just another trick of the mind, because there is nothing higher than bhakti. And bhakti can be done at any place. Now, it doesn't mean that we don't visit the Dham. We are encouraged to visit Mayapur Dham, Vrindavan Dham, but we should always go in the association of devotees. And the reason that we should go there is to hear from the pure devotees who stay there. The reason that a person should go visit the holy places is not that I'm going sightseeing, as I'm going to go see another country or another, but the purpose is to hear from the pure devotees. Is that okay?
Yes.
Yes.
So do you all want to stop here?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. Thank you for joining. Srimad Bhagavatam. Shilpa Shyam. Hare Hare.